Imagine closing your eyes and stepping into a world that feels both impossibly strange and intimately familiar. A place where the laws of physics bend, the landscapes shift without warning, and the people you meet sometimes seem more real than anyone you've encountered while awake. This isn't just a flight of fancy or a trick of the imagination. What if every dream you've ever had isn't merely a creation of your mind, but a window, a doorway to an actual place that exists somewhere beyond your waking perception? Somewhere beyond the limits of time, space, and even the logic we cling to. These worlds might be waiting for you, just as real as the one you walk through every day. When we dream, our brains conjure images, scenarios, and feelings that often feel both vivid and nonsensical. We see impossible architectures, walk along shifting landscapes, or speak with beings who never existed in our waking lives. Conventional science calls this a neurological process, a series of firings in the brain that integrate memory, emotion, and imagination. But some thinkers, mystics, and dream explorers have suggested a more unsettling possibility. Perhaps these are not simply figments of imagination, but glimpses of places that exist independently of us. Consider the countless dreams you've had over your lifetime. Some were so precise, so detailed, that the memory of them lingers as if you had actually visited a physical location. The street corners, the smell of the air, the way the sun hit the pavement. Sometimes they can feel more tangible than the streets outside your window. If these sensations were merely neural illusions, why would they carry the weight, the gravity of lived experience? What if our minds are not creating these places, but tapping into them? And if that's true, what governs the connection between the dreamer and the dreamed? Why do only certain individuals visit certain worlds? It is worth considering how dreams interact with memory. Some researchers suggest that dreams are a way to process experiences, to solve problems, or even to rehearse responses to future threats. Yet, there are dreams that appear completely unrelated to our daily lives, where landscapes, beings, and entire societies arise with no apparent origin. If the mind were purely constructing these scenarios, it would seem almost impossible to account for the coherence, the strange internal logic, and the emotional resonance these places hold. If dreams were messages, are they only ours, or are they echoes of something larger, something we do not yet understand? Philosophers have long pondered the idea that consciousness might extend beyond the body, that reality itself is not limited to what we can perceive through our senses. If consciousness can exist in a way that transcends the waking state, perhaps these places we visit in dreams exist on a parallel plane of reality, a place where the currency of experience is not bound by physical laws but shaped by perception, emotion, and intention. In this framework, every dream becomes a visit, every memory a trail left behind in a world that exists independently of whether we are awake or asleep. We can also consider the phenomenon of recurring dreams. Many people experience locations or situations repeatedly, sometimes for decades. A room, a street, or a mountain might appear with minor variations across years. If these were purely mental fabrications, one might expect them to shift and change in ways more reflective of the chaos of thought. Yet the persistence suggests consistency, as if the places exist and our consciousness stumbles into them again and again. Could it be that our dreams are like travel logs, mapping a terrain that is stable, even if it is invisible to our waking eyes? Some cultures have treated dreams as sacred portals, not just messages from the subconscious, but journeys into other realms. Indigenous traditions speak of visiting spirit worlds, where the landscapes of the dream carry lessons, guidance, or even warnings. In Tibetan Buddhism, practitioners of dream yoga train to navigate these spaces with lucidity and intent, suggesting that the dream world is a realm to explore and interact with consciously. If one accepts that dreams can be navigated, then the line between imagination and reality begins to blur. The realness of a dream world becomes not a matter of skepticism, but a matter of experience and skill. There are also accounts of shared dreams, where two or more individuals report visiting the same location with strikingly similar details. While skeptics dismiss these as coincidence, memory errors, or cultural influence, the specificity and consistency of some reports challenge simple explanations. If these are real places, then consciousness may not be an isolated phenomenon. There could be layers of reality where minds intersect, overlap, and explore the same world simultaneously, independent of physical proximity. Science may not yet have a framework to explain such possibilities, but it has uncovered tantalizing hints about the malleability of perception and consciousness. Experiments with lucid dreaming, virtual reality, and even hallucinogenic compounds reveal that the mind can experience environments that feel physically real, despite lacking any external stimuli. These findings suggest that reality, at least as we perceive it, is deeply entwined with consciousness. If we can perceive something convincingly in dreams, perhaps perception itself is enough to access a world that exists beyond our waking senses. Time in dreams also behaves oddly. Hours may pass in a dream, yet only minutes elapse in the waking world. If every dream is a real place somewhere else, then time may function differently in these realms, unfettered by linear causality. Events can unfold in loops, distances can contract or expand, and cause and effect may not apply in ways we understand. This adds another layer of mystery. If these places are real, then their existence is governed by rules alien to our own reality, a reminder that even a single dream may carry the weight of an entire cosmos. Emotions experienced in dreams often linger far beyond the dream itself. The joy of a reunion, the horror of a chase, or the awe at witnessing something impossible, these feelings feel authentic, not symbolic. If the places we visit in dreams are real, then perhaps these emotions are not merely reactions, but interactions with the environment, echoes of the world's own rhythm and energy. In a sense, each dream could be a dialogue, a subtle exchange between the visitor and the visited. What happens when we wake? We carry fragments of these worlds with us, a strange image, a phrase, a sense of déjà vu. Most of the time, we dismiss them as random, ephemeral. But if you entertain the possibility that these places are real, then waking life becomes not a separation from experience, but a continuation of it in a different form. Memory, then, is a bridge, a thread connecting the tangible world with the landscapes we traverse in sleep. There is a compelling beauty to the idea that our nightly journeys are not just personal, but cosmically connected. Each dreamer may touch corners of the universe unseen by anyone else. Some dreams are brief glimpses, others long odysseys. Some are comforting, others terrifying, yet all are invitations to explore, to question, to expand the boundaries of what we call reality. The more one considers these possibilities, the more the waking world itself begins to feel uncertain. What is real? Is it only what we see when our eyes are open? Or could reality extend into the uncharted territories of our own consciousness? If every dream is a real place somewhere else, then perhaps the universe is vaster than we can imagine. Not just physically, but in every dimension of thought, perception, and existence. From this perspective, dreams are not mere entertainment for the mind, nor are they simple byproducts of neural processes. They are coordinates, portals, and maps. They are evidence that reality is layered, complex, and far stranger than we typically allow ourselves to believe. And as science, philosophy, and mysticism converge, a picture emerges of a cosmos where consciousness is not confined to a single body, a single moment, or even a single world. Even if we cannot yet prove the reality of these places, the exploration itself matters. By paying attention to our dreams, cultivating lucidity, and questioning the boundaries of what is real, we may begin to perceive a broader spectrum of existence. In doing so, the act of dreaming becomes not a passive drift through fleeting images, but an active journey, a reconnaissance of realities that are as intricate, as emotional, and as alive as the one we inhabit when awake. And so, as your eyelids grow heavy and the world around you dims, consider the possibility that you are about to step into a place that exists independently of you, a world waiting beyond the veil of ordinary perception. Every sensation, every encounter, and every landscape carries a significance you may only understand once you cross its threshold. Whether these places are manifestations of your mind or realms that exist somewhere else, the experience is real. The journey matters, the world's awaiting. Perhaps the most profound implication is that every night offers a form of exploration that is simultaneously intimate and infinite. By embracing the reality of dreams, by treating them with the seriousness and wonder we normally reserve for the waking world, we may discover that our understanding of existence is just the tip of a much deeper ocean. The boundaries of reality are porous, and consciousness may navigate them far more freely than we have dared to imagine. Every dream then becomes an invitation, not merely to witness, but to engage, not merely to imagine, but to experience. Somewhere, beyond the veil, these places exist, and when you close your eyes tonight, you may be traveling there, whether you realize it or not. If the places we visit in dreams are real, then the rules that govern them are not the rules we know in waking life. Time, space, and causality, so rigid in our daily experience, become flexible, malleable, and even optional. A mountain might fold into itself, a river might run uphill, and a conversation with a stranger could span lifetimes in what feels like minutes. This is not merely fantasy, it is a pattern repeated across countless dream accounts, a consistency that defies simple neurological explanation. Perhaps the dream world is a universe with its own physics, a domain that obeys laws we have yet to perceive, where each dreamer interacts with the environment according to intuition, emotion, and intent. Consider the phenomenon of lucid dreaming, where awareness of dreaming allows you to influence the dream world. People report flying effortlessly, transforming landscapes, or interacting with dream characters in ways that seem impossible in waking life. If these worlds are entirely generated by the mind, then lucidity is a curious exception. But if these realms exist independently, then lucidity may function as a form of negotiation, an interface between consciousness and the world itself. Awareness becomes a tool not for fabrication, but for navigation. Your intentions and attention may shape outcomes, yet the terrain remains real, with its own hidden structure and rules. This raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness itself. If we can experience worlds that are seemingly independent of our body, what does that say about the boundaries of self? In waking life, identity is anchored to the body, memory, and social context. In dreams, identity becomes fluid. You might be someone else entirely, inhabiting a different body, a different species, or a different reality. Yet the emotions, the sense of agency, the moral intuition you carry feels consistent, as if the self is both mutable and constant at the same time. Could consciousness itself exist beyond the brain, traveling freely into domains that are not confined by the waking world? The notion of dream realms as real places also challenges our understanding of perception. In waking life, we rely on our senses to interpret reality. Light enters the eye, sound vibrates the eardrum, touch informs us of texture and temperature. Dreams bypass these systems entirely, yet the resulting experience is often indistinguishable from reality. The sky may shimmer with colours we have never seen, or the sound of a waterfall may stir memories we didn't know existed. If these realms exist, then perception is not just a passive reflection of the world, it is a bridge, a means of interaction between consciousness and reality, whether that reality exists in this universe or another. Some dream researchers point to recurring symbols and archetypes, suggesting that dreams tap into a collective unconscious. But if each dream landscape is a real place, perhaps these symbols are not mere projections of shared human experience, but features of the world itself. A recurring river, a particular mountain, or a certain kind of tree might exist independently, appearing in multiple dreamers' experiences as naturally as it would appear on a physical map. These features could be constants of the dream world, landmarks that guide travelers, and evidence that these realms have structure and continuity. Emotions in these spaces are another fascinating aspect. A dream can evoke intense fear, profound joy, or piercing melancholy, often without any clear cause. If dreams are real places, then these emotions may be more than internal responses. They may be interactions with the world itself. A landscape can feel threatening, a character can radiate hostility, or a sky can resonate with serenity. In a sense, the environment communicates directly with the dreamer, bypassing rational thought, speaking through sensation, intuition, and emotional resonance. This turns dreaming into a dialogue, an ongoing exchange between consciousness and the realm it inhabits. Consider also the continuity between dreams and waking life. Many people report experiencing solutions to problems, flashes of inspiration, or creative insights that emerge from dreams. If the dream world is real, then these insights may not be products of random neural processes, but messages, guidance, or discoveries from a domain outside ordinary perception. The universe itself may be accessible in subtle ways during dreams, offering glimpses of possibilities, patterns, and truths that the waking mind cannot yet grasp. In this framework, the act of dreaming becomes not a mere reflection of our life, but a form of exploration, a method of engaging with realities that exist beyond the senses. One of the most compelling questions is the nature of the inhabitants of these realms. Dream characters, often dismissed as projections of our subconscious, sometimes exhibit knowledge, intentions, or behaviors that surprise even the dreamer. They can appear autonomous, with motivations independent of our own. If the world is real, then these beings may also exist in ways we cannot fully comprehend. They could be conscious entities, native to the landscapes of dreams, interacting with us not as symbols, but as neighbors, collaborators, or even guides. This perspective transforms the dream from a solitary experience into a form of social exploration, where relationships are formed in worlds that exist beyond the waking eye. Shared dreams add another layer to this mystery. Reports of two or more people visiting the same dream space, noticing the same landmarks, or interacting with the same characters suggest that these worlds may have an objective existence. Skeptics attribute this to coincidence, suggestion, or memory errors, yet some accounts are remarkably detailed and consistent. If real, these shared experiences imply that consciousness can intersect in ways not constrained by physical space, creating meeting points in realms that are simultaneously personal and collective. In this light, dreaming becomes not just exploration, but a form of interdimensional travel where interactions are possible across minds and perhaps across realities themselves. The dream world may also possess its own temporal structure, distinct from the linear flow we experience while awake. A single night's dream can encompass centuries of events, alternate lifetimes, or rapid transformations of geography and culture. This elasticity of time challenges our understanding of cause and effect, suggesting that the dream realm is not bound by the same temporal rules as the waking world. For a traveller of these realms, the past, present, and future may coexist, overlap, or loop in ways that are logical within that context, but impossible by the standards of physical reality. The implications for understanding consciousness, causality, and existence itself are staggering. From a practical perspective, dream exploration requires a combination of attention, intention, and practice. Lucid dreaming, meditation, and dream journaling are not just tools for entertainment. They may be methods for navigating these other realities consciously. By recording, reflecting on, and revisiting dreams, travelers can develop familiarity with recurring landscapes, recognize patterns, and even engage with dream inhabitants more intentionally. Each dream becomes a step in a larger journey, a process of mapping, understanding, and interacting with a world that exists independently, yet responds to the presence of the dreamer. There is also the question of limits. Are some dream realms accessible only to certain individuals? Are there boundaries that cannot be crossed? Places too distant, too alien, or too intense for the unprepared mind? Some dream travelers report zones of extreme clarity, others regions of chaos or darkness. The variability may reflect differences in perception, sensitivity, or experience, or it may indicate that these realms operate according to rules entirely outside our control. If the world exists independently, then our ability to navigate it may be limited by preparation, intention, and even ethical considerations. Entering some spaces may require respect, readiness, or understanding of rules we have yet to learn. As we consider these possibilities, the line between imagination and reality becomes increasingly porous. If every dream is a real place somewhere else, then the act of dreaming is no longer trivial. It becomes a form of travel, research, and engagement with a universe that extends far beyond the confines of the body, the senses, and the mind as we typically experience it. In this light, each night offers an invitation to explore, to discover, and to connect with realms that are simultaneously intimate and infinite. Finally, there is the lingering impact of dreams on waking life. A vivid dream can alter perceptions, influence decisions, and even reshape relationships. Perhaps this is because the dream world is real, and our experiences there resonate in ways that the waking world cannot replicate. Memories, emotions, and insights from these journeys are not merely mental residues. They may be evidence of interactions with places and beings that exist beyond our ordinary awareness. In embracing dreams as real, we open ourselves to a broader, more intricate conception of existence, where consciousness is both traveler and witness, observer and participant in worlds that await us every night. The more one studies, reflects, and engages with dreams, the more one is drawn into a profound realization. The universe is not confined to the physical or visible. Consciousness, in its most fluid and expansive form, may traverse landscapes, interact with entities, and experience dimensions that defy ordinary comprehension. Every dream is an opportunity to witness a reality that exists independently, a reality as complex, emotional, and astonishing as the one we inhabit when awake. In embracing this possibility, we begin to see dreaming not as a passive drift through imaginary scenes, but as an active, meaningful exploration. Each dream carries lessons, discoveries, and experiences waiting to be observed, remembered, and understood. Perhaps the most astonishing aspect is the simplicity of the act. All it takes is sleep, attention, and awareness to step into a world that may exist far beyond our everyday perception, a world as real as any we have ever known. And so, as the dreamer drifts deeper into these landscapes, the boundaries of self, world, and possibility dissolve. What was once confined to imagination becomes tangible. What was fleeting becomes enduring, and what was invisible becomes profoundly present. Each dream journey becomes a thread in the larger tapestry of existence, a reminder that the universe is infinitely larger and more intricate than the waking mind can fully comprehend. If every dream is a real place somewhere else, then the landscapes we visit are not isolated pockets of experience. They may be connected, forming vast networks, intricate geographies, and even cultures that persist independently of any single dreamer. Some explorers of dreams report returning to the same locations repeatedly, discovering new features each time, as if the world itself is alive, unfolding in response to attention, curiosity, or circumstance. A valley that appeared barren yesterday may bloom with life today. A city that was quiet may hum with activity, and a river that was still may suddenly surge with force. These changes suggest a reality that is dynamic and responsive, one that continues to exist and evolve even when we are absent. Recurring dreams are particularly fascinating in this context. When a landscape, character, or event reappears across weeks, months, or even decades, it implies continuity. If these worlds are purely products of the mind, the consistency is difficult to explain. Memory, imagination, and habit are fluid, yet these dreams often retain exacting detail. The curve of a hill, the scent of the air, the way light filters through leaves. This persistence hints at a reality that exists beyond our individual perception, waiting to be visited, experienced, and remembered. Perhaps each recurring dream is a waypoint, a recognizable landmark in a vast, living network of realities. The emotional weight of these places also cannot be overstated. Some dreams leave a lingering sense of awe, melancholy, or wonder that feels entirely disproportionate to the events themselves. You may find yourself inexplicably moved by a sunset in a dream, or haunted by a figure whose face you cannot fully recall. If these worlds are real, then emotions may function as signals, subtle feedback from the environment itself. The joy, fear, or curiosity we experience might reflect the nature of the space, the presence of other beings, or even the inherent energy of the realm. In this sense, feelings are more than internal responses. They are interactions with the reality we traverse, a language of resonance that communicates meaning beyond words. Dreams also have a curious relationship with problem-solving and insight. Many inventors, artists, and thinkers report discovering solutions, ideas, or perspectives in dreams that seem unattainable while awake. Perhaps this is because the dream worlds operate according to principles inaccessible to the waking mind, offering new arrangements of information, novel combinations of thought, and perspectives untethered by conventional logic. If these places exist independently, then insights gleaned in dreams are not merely subconscious tricks. They are discoveries made in a terrain of reality that is structured differently, where cause and effect, space and time, behave according to unknown rules. The phenomenon of shared dreams adds another layer of complexity. When two individuals report visiting the same place with remarkable consistency, it raises profound questions about the independence of consciousness and the objectivity of the dream world. If these worlds exist regardless of who enters them, then consciousness is not isolated. It can converge, overlap, and even collaborate across minds. Imagine two travelers exploring a city together, each perceiving the same streets, the same buildings, the same inhabitants, yet interacting with it in their own ways. Shared dreams suggest a reality that is simultaneously personal and collective, a space where multiple consciousnesses can intersect, communicate, and experience a world as if it were tangible. Even the seemingly absurd or impossible elements of dreams begin to take on new significance. A building that twists impossibly into the sky, a river that flows with colours unseen in waking life, or a character who defies physics might not be errors or illusions. They could be features of the dream realm itself. The rules of these spaces may be entirely alien, yet internally coherent, suggesting that logic and structure exist in forms that our waking minds cannot immediately grasp. The more we explore and remember these details, the more we begin to map the underlying geometry, culture, and rhythm of these worlds. Dream characters, too, are worthy of closer consideration. In many dreams, these beings act independently, speak with knowledge the dreamer does not possess, or offer guidance, warnings, or companionship. Some may seem entirely fantastical, while others carry a weight of reality that is difficult to ignore. If dreams are real places, then these characters may also possess consciousness, existing in a realm where their lives unfold regardless of our presence. Interacting with them becomes a form of ethical engagement, an exchange between sentient beings who share a space that is alive and independent. In this way, dreams are not only exploratory, they are relational, requiring empathy, attention, and responsibility. The landscapes themselves often bear traces of history, culture, and memory. A forest may contain ruins, a city may hint at lost civilizations, and mountains may hold echoes of events that occurred long before the dreamer's arrival. These features suggest that dream realms are not static. They possess continuity, history, and a form of collective memory. Visiting such places is akin to archaeological exploration, where each observation contributes to a deeper understanding of the world's structure, inhabitants, and evolution. The act of dreaming becomes a form of active investigation, mapping a reality that exists independently of the observer while still shaping the experience of the traveler. Time in these realms is particularly fluid. Events may unfold at different speeds, or the past, present, and future may coexist simultaneously. A single dream may contain centuries of history, lifetimes of interaction, or rapid transformations of landscapes and societies. The elasticity of time allows for experiences that defy waking comprehension. A day in a dream may feel like a lifetime, or a moment may carry the weight of eternity. This challenges our understanding of cause and effect, suggesting that the dream world operates according to principles that are coherent within itself, but entirely alien to our usual perception of reality. The variability of accessibility is another fascinating aspect. Some places seem to appear only to certain dreamers or only at specific times under particular circumstances. This may suggest that the dream realms are selective, governed by rules, intention, or readiness. Some areas may require a certain level of awareness, emotional maturity, or understanding to enter safely or fully perceive. The act of dreaming then becomes a combination of opportunity, skill, and readiness, where preparation influences the depth and clarity of experience. Conscious attention, lucidity, and intention may function as keys that open doors, allowing the traveler to access realms that remain hidden to the unprepared mind. There is also an interplay between imagination and perception. Even if the worlds we visit exist independently, our mind shapes the experience, influencing perception, emotion, and interpretation. The dreamer's attention may highlight certain features, amplify details, or interact with the environment in ways that alter its presentation. Yet the underlying structure, consistency, and persistence of these realms suggest that they have existence beyond our subjective influence. We are both explorers and participants, shaping our experience while simultaneously being shaped by the reality we enter. The ethical dimension of dream exploration cannot be overlooked. If the worlds and beings we encounter are real, our actions carry significance. The way we treat dream characters, the choices we make in these spaces, and the attention we pay to the environment may have consequences that we do not yet understand. Dreams then become not only opportunities for discovery, but exercises in responsibility, empathy, and respect. Our presence may be transient, but the impact of engagement could be lasting in ways invisible to us. As we reflect on these possibilities, the nature of consciousness itself becomes central. If dreaming allows access to worlds beyond the physical, then consciousness is far more expansive than previously imagined. It is not confined to the body, nor limited by the waking moment. Instead, it may travel, perceive, interact, and exist in forms that are not immediately apparent in the material universe. Each dream then becomes a microcosm of exploration, a journey not just through landscapes, but through the potentialities of mind, perception, and existence itself. Memory serves as the bridge between worlds. By recording dreams, reflecting on recurring patterns, and recognizing the features and inhabitants of these realms, the dreamer begins to construct maps of a reality that is otherwise invisible. Each journal entry, each recollection, contributes to understanding, deepening the connection between consciousness and the world it traverses. Over time, the dreamer may develop familiarity with territories, recognize guides, and even anticipate the rhythms and patterns of landscapes that exist independently, yet are intimately connected to perception. Finally, there is the lingering, subtle influence of these journeys on waking life. Dreams can change perspective, alter behavior, and instill a sense of wonder that persists after awakening. If the worlds we visit are real, these effects are not illusions. They are the result of experiences in realms that exist, echoing into our waking consciousness. By acknowledging, exploring, and engaging with these realities, we open ourselves to a universe that is far richer, stranger, and more intricate than the everyday mind permits. The dreamer becomes an explorer, a witness, and a participant in a vast network of realities, each one waiting to be experienced, remembered, and understood. By approaching dreams with attention, intention, and reverence, we may begin to navigate realms that are not only vivid and emotional, but real, persistent, and meaningful. The act of dreaming transforms from passive experience into active journey, from fleeting images into a tapestry of worlds that exist beyond the confines of the body and mind. If the worlds we visit in dreams are real, then they are not random collections of images and events. They possess structure, coherence, and, in many cases, intricate design. Mountains may follow invisible lines of energy, rivers may flow according to a logic beyond water and gravity, and cities may exist with cultures, economies, and histories entirely separate from our waking comprehension. These structures suggest that dream worlds are self-contained realities, where physical laws, geography, and social systems operate independently, yet maintain a kind of internal consistency. Even when a landscape shifts dramatically in a single dream, the change often follows a pattern, as if guided by forces that are unseen but persistent. Explorers of dreams often report what could be described as zones or regions, each with its own character. One area may be dense, chaotic, and unpredictable, while another is serene, harmonious, and luminous. The experience of moving from one zone to another can feel like crossing into an entirely new dimension, each with distinct rules and energies. This suggests that the dream world is vast, possibly infinite, and segmented into regions that exist independently yet are interconnected, forming a complex network of realities waiting to be traversed. Interaction between dreamers provides some of the most compelling evidence of objective reality within these realms. When two or more individuals share a similar dream, the landscapes, objects, and even inhabitants can appear consistently across accounts. The possibility of multiple consciousnesses engaging with the same space suggests that these realms exist independently of any single mind. It is as if the dream world has its own ontology, a reality that continues to exist even when no one is observing it, yet can be accessed, explored, and influenced by conscious beings. This shared existence challenges our understanding of individuality, presence, and perception. The inhabitants of dream worlds are equally intriguing. Dream characters often display awareness, intention, and knowledge that surpass the dreamer's own understanding. They may communicate warnings, offer guidance, or act in ways that feel autonomous. If these beings are real within their own context, interacting with them becomes an ethical and relational endeavor. The choices we make, whether to ignore, follow, or engage, may carry consequences within the dream world itself. These interactions transform dreaming from a solitary mental experience into a dialogue, a collaborative engagement with consciousnesses that exist independently of us, yet are accessible through the act of dreaming. Dream worlds also demonstrate remarkable temporal flexibility. Time may stretch, compress, or loop entirely differently than in waking life. A single night's dream can encompass centuries of events, multiple lifetimes, or shifts between eras that would be impossible to reconcile in the physical world. This elasticity allows for experiences and lessons that transcend linear causality. A traveller in such a realm may witness the rise and fall of civilizations, the growth of forests over eons, or the evolution of beings in a single night. The fluidity of time adds depth and complexity to the dream world, revealing it as a domain where experience is measured not in minutes or hours, but in the richness and intensity of interaction. Recurring landscapes, objects, and symbols suggest continuity and persistence. Some dreams remain familiar even decades apart, hinting at the existence of stable locations, much like physical landmarks in the waking world. A forest you wandered as a child may reappear in adulthood, unchanged yet full of new experiences, waiting for your return. A city may grow, evolve, and exhibit signs of history, suggesting that dream realms are not static but alive, undergoing processes that continue independently of any single dreamer. Each visit becomes a thread in an ongoing narrative, connecting past, present, and possibly even future events in ways that are difficult to map but deeply tangible to experience. Lucidity adds another layer of complexity. When the dreamer becomes aware of the dream state, they gain the ability to influence outcomes, navigate landscapes intentionally, and engage with inhabitants more consciously. This awareness does not necessarily create the dream world, it allows the dreamer to interact with it more effectively, to explore with purpose and curiosity. Lucid dreamers often describe a sense of respect for the space, understanding that the world is coherent, reactive, and alive. Actions taken in this state may ripple outward, subtly shaping the dream world while still being guided by its inherent structure. The boundary between waking and dreaming becomes increasingly porous in this context. Experiences from dreams often bleed into waking life. A sense of déjà vu, an intuition, or a creative insight may persist long after the dream has ended. If the dream world exists independently, these lingering impressions may be evidence of genuine interaction, a subtle transfer of experience from one reality to another. The waking mind is then not separate from these realms, but interconnected, carrying fragments, lessons, and echoes of places beyond perception. In this light, our understanding of real and imagined requires re-evaluation. Reality may be layered, with the dream world operating as an extension or parallel dimension of existence itself. Dreams also offer a form of exploration that cannot be achieved in waking life. Landscapes can be traversed instantaneously, gravity can be ignored, and interactions can defy social or physical limitations. This freedom allows for experiences that are profoundly educational, emotionally transformative, or creatively liberating. Yet this exploration is not arbitrary. It is guided by curiosity, attention, and engagement with the world's inherent structure. The dreamer navigates a space that is both boundless and ordered, where discovery is possible precisely because the realm has its own rules, consistency, and integrity. The persistence of certain features across dreams, even when separated by years, suggests that these places exist beyond the individual mind. A river, a temple, a city square may reappear with minute consistency, indicating stability, continuity, and permanence. These recurring elements serve as anchors, allowing the dreamer to navigate, anticipate, and explore with increasing familiarity. Memory, reflection, and attention become tools for mapping a reality that continues independently, revealing that the dream world is not an ephemeral illusion, but a persistent, living domain. In addition to structure and consistency, dream worlds appear to possess energy and mood, often tied to landscapes, characters, and events. Some places feel dense, heavy, or threatening, while others radiate light, serenity, or clarity. These qualities affect the dreamer's experience profoundly, influencing emotion, perception, and even physical response. If these worlds are real, then mood may be an intrinsic property, a form of environmental information that communicates context, history, or potential interaction. Emotions experienced in dreams may thus be both internal and external, reflecting the interplay between consciousness and the realm it inhabits. Ethics and intention play a crucial role in the dreamer's interaction with these realms. Because the world exists independently, actions carry weight. Whether approaching a character with aggression or kindness, exploring a place with curiosity or indifference, the choices made in dreams may shape the experience in ways the dreamer does not fully perceive. Respect, attention, and mindfulness become not just personal virtues, but practical tools for navigating realities that are both alive and autonomous. The dreamer's consciousness is an active agent, participating in a network of existence rather than merely observing or imagining it. Ultimately, these observations invite a reconsideration of the limits of consciousness. If we can access realms that are independent, structured, and interactive, then awareness itself is not confined to the body, the brain, or the waking world. Consciousness may be mobile, relational, and responsive, capable of engaging with domains far beyond ordinary perception. Dreams, in this framework, are not side effects of neural processes, but portals, opportunities, and invitations to explore dimensions of reality that exist independently, yet intersect with our experience. As we consider the nature of these realms, a profound sense of wonder emerges. Each dream, recurring landscape, or lucid encounter becomes part of a larger exploration, a map of realities that are waiting to be experienced. Memory, attention, and intention are the tools of navigation. The dreamer is not merely visiting imaginary worlds, but engaging with dimensions that exist in their own right, alive with history, culture, energy, and inhabitants. In this light, the act of dreaming is not passive. It is exploration, interaction, and participation in a reality far richer than the waking mind often allows. By embracing the possibility that these worlds are real, the dreamer begins to perceive existence as layered, interconnected, and astonishingly vast. Waking life becomes intertwined with dreaming, each informing the other, and consciousness emerges as both traveller and witness, observer and participant. The act of dreaming, then, is elevated from a nightly curiosity to an essential practice, a way to explore, understand, and interact with dimensions of reality that extend far beyond the familiar landscapes of the physical world. If dream worlds exist independently, then navigating them requires more than passive drifting. While some dreams unfold with random fluidity, others seem to respond to intention, attention, and awareness. Lucid dreaming is the most direct method, a state in which the mind recognizes the dream while still immersed in it. In lucidity, the traveler gains a form of agency, the ability to explore, to engage with landscapes and inhabitants, and to observe without being swept entirely by the unfolding narrative. Yet this agency is not omnipotent. The dream world maintains its structure, rules, and responses. Intent guides the traveler, but the realm remains autonomous, as if aware of the presence of another consciousness. Preparation plays a subtle but significant role in these journeys. Keeping a dream journal, noting recurring landscapes, characters, and symbols, sharpens awareness and improves memory. Over time, patterns emerge. Routes through cities, clusters of mountains, rivers, and other landmarks become recognizable. These features may act as navigation points, forming a kind of map, even if the geography itself is non-Euclidean, shifting and expansive. By tracking these coordinates, the dreamer begins to establish familiarity, predict outcomes, and deepen their engagement with worlds that exist beyond ordinary perception. Dream geography is another compelling facet. Unlike physical terrain, dream landscapes often defy logic yet retain internal coherence. Streets may fold upon themselves, forests may stretch endlessly in one direction, or a single structure may simultaneously appear ancient and modern. Yet these distortions are not random chaos. They exhibit a consistency that suggests rules and patterns, hinting at a reality that is structured and alive. By recognizing and learning these patterns, the dreamer gains the ability to move purposefully, anticipate environmental changes, and even locate regions that might otherwise remain hidden. Interacting with dream beings is a complex and fascinating aspect of exploration. These entities often exhibit autonomy, awareness, and intention. Some serve as guides, offering directions or advice. Others appear as obstacles, warnings, or reflections of challenges within the traveler. In some cases, dream characters possess knowledge unknown to the dreamer, suggesting lives and histories independent of the visitor. Engaging ethically with these beings, approaching with curiosity, respect, and attentiveness, often yields more meaningful and transformative experiences. The relationships formed are subtle yet profound, demonstrating that interaction in dreams may have consequences beyond the fleeting narrative of a single night. Dreams also offer a form of reconnaissance, a way to observe patterns, energies, and possibilities inaccessible in waking life. Travelers may witness entire cities, societies, or ecosystems, each with distinct rhythms, cultures, and inhabitants. These observations may be experiential rather than analytical, registering in memory and emotion rather than language. Yet the knowledge gained can be profound, influencing waking creativity, problem-solving, and intuition. The dreamer becomes a researcher, mapping a landscape that is alive, independent, and infinitely complex. Time and sequence in these worlds often operate under rules different from waking reality. A day may contain centuries, and a single encounter may unfold over multiple lifetimes. This elasticity allows the traveler to experience vast amounts of information, emotion, and interaction within a single dream session. Cause and effect may be circular, looped, or layered. The traveler may influence outcomes subtly, but the world itself is not subordinate. It evolves, reacts, and maintains continuity, even as the dreamer moves through it. Understanding this relationship between agency and structure is essential for meaningful exploration. Recurring places provide another anchor. A particular city, valley, or river may appear over years, often with evolving features. Returning to these locations allows the dreamer to observe changes, recognize patterns, and interact with inhabitants in new ways. It also suggests that the world continues to exist between visits, evolving independently of any single observer. Each journey into a familiar landscape is a continuation of a story, a conversation with a reality that persists regardless of individual consciousness. The dreamer becomes both witness and participant, moving through a living narrative that spans time and perception. The interplay between perception and reality is subtle. The dreamer's focus may highlight certain features, amplify details, or elicit specific interactions. Attention, curiosity, and intention serve as tools for engagement, but they do not create the world. This distinction is crucial. The dream realm is autonomous. The traveler's mind is both instrument and participant, shaping experience while simultaneously responding to the world's inherent logic and energy. This dynamic interaction reinforces the notion that dreams are not purely internal constructs. They are living, responsive realities. Philosophically, these experiences challenge fundamental assumptions about existence, consciousness, and perception. If dreams are real places, then consciousness is not confined to the physical body or the waking moment. It moves freely, interacts with autonomous realities, and experiences worlds with their own internal consistency. Waking life becomes one layer among many, and the boundaries between reality and imagination blur. The universe may be far richer, layered, and more complex than previously imagined, with each dreamer capable of interacting with dimensions that exist beyond ordinary perception. Emotion functions as both compass and signal. Intense feelings, fear, awe, wonder, love, often accompany significant locations, events, or interactions. These emotions may be intrinsic to the environment, reflecting its nature, history, or energy, rather than mere projections of the dreamer's mind. Attuning to these emotional cues allows the traveler to navigate landscapes more effectively, recognize areas of importance, and engage meaningfully with beings and places. The emotional landscape is as real and informative as the physical geography. Some dream travelers report zones of extreme clarity or heightened reality, where colors, sounds, and textures surpass anything experienced in waking life. These zones may feel sacred, significant, or transformative. Entering them requires attention, intention, and respect. and the experience often leaves lasting impressions upon waking. Such zones suggest that the dream world contains hierarchies, regions, or planes with varying densities of experience, each offering unique opportunities for exploration, learning, or insight. Dreams may also serve as laboratories for self-discovery. Choices made in interaction with beings, decisions to explore or retreat, and responses to challenges can reveal aspects of personality, values, and perception that remain hidden in waking life. The autonomy of the world ensures that these experiences are not mere fantasies, but encounters with a reality that responds and reacts, providing feedback that is rich, nuanced, and transformative. Dream exploration becomes a form of ethical and psychological engagement with dimensions of existence beyond ordinary perception. The blending of dream and waking life has subtle yet profound effects. Inspiration, intuition, and creativity often emerge from these journeys, appearing in art, problem-solving, or daily decision-making. Memory of specific landscapes, characters, or events can influence perception, behavior, and understanding of the waking world. This interconnection suggests that consciousness operates across dimensions, with experiences in one reality resonating in another. Dreaming is not separate from life. It is an extension, a parallel stream of exploration and discovery. Even moments of danger or discomfort in dreams carry significance. Threatening landscapes, aggressive beings, or challenging scenarios may serve as training grounds, ethical tests, or lessons in awareness. Navigating these challenges requires attentiveness, emotional regulation, and discernment. The dream world may be testing, guiding, or offering opportunities to practice skills that extend beyond sleep. Each encounter is an experiment, a conversation with a reality that is independent, alive, and intelligent. Finally, the continuity of these worlds implies that dreams are not ephemeral. Rivers continue to flow, cities persist, and beings maintain their existence even when no dreamer is present. Time in these realms may be independent of the waking clock, and experiences may accumulate or evolve between visits. This persistence reinforces the notion that dreams are not merely mental constructs, but autonomous realities, waiting to be explored, understood, and engaged with. By embracing the possibility that dreams are real places, the dreamer becomes an active participant in an intricate, layered, and astonishingly vast universe. Attention, intention, and ethical engagement transform sleep from a passive experience into an immersive exploration. Each journey reveals landscapes, inhabitants, and insights that exist independently, yet intersect with consciousness in profound ways. Dreaming becomes not merely a nightly diversion, but an invitation to traverse realities that are as complex, beautiful, and alive as the one we inhabit while awake. If dreams are real places, then there must be rules, structures, and mechanisms that govern how consciousness enters, navigates, and interacts with them. These rules are subtle, often invisible to the casual dreamer, yet experienced travelers notice patterns, shifts in perception, recurring thresholds, and moments when reality itself seems to ripple before their eyes. A doorway may lead to a familiar city one night, but to an entirely new realm the next. A path through a forest may loop endlessly, or a river may vanish and reappear elsewhere. These mechanics suggest that the dream world is not chaotic. It operates under principles we do not yet fully understand. The challenge of exploration lies in learning how to move fluidly within them. One striking aspect of dream mechanics is the fluidity of boundaries. Space is malleable, and the perception of distance can stretch or compress without warning. A single step might cross a continent, or a familiar street may fold into a labyrinth. Travelers often report zones that act as thresholds, gateways between regions, or even layers of reality. Crossing these boundaries may feel intuitive, or it may require focus, intent, or interaction with dream characters. These thresholds function like the edges of maps, revealing that the dream world is vast and stratified, a complex network of interconnected realms waiting to be explored. Time, too, is elastic. Events may unfold in loops, sequences may overlap, and cause and effect can behave unpredictably. A conversation might occur before the encounter it references, or a city may appear to evolve over decades in the span of a single dream. This elasticity allows the dreamer to experience multiple perspectives, witness transformations, and explore consequences without the constraints of linear chronology. It also suggests that the dream realm possesses a kind of temporal autonomy. Time exists there independently, and consciousness moves through it in ways that do not always align with waking logic. Shared dreams offer the most fascinating insight into the mechanics of these worlds. When multiple dreamers report visiting the same location, with strikingly similar features, it implies an objective reality beyond individual minds. Bridges, buildings, landscapes, and even dream characters appear with consistency. In some cases, interactions between dreamers are reported. Gestures, communication, or coordinated movement within a shared space. If verified, this phenomenon challenges assumptions about isolation in consciousness. The dream world may be a shared domain, capable of hosting multiple minds, each perceiving, interacting, and coexisting in a persistent reality that continues regardless of who is present. The autonomy of dream beings further underscores the independence of these realms. Dream characters often behave unpredictably, acting on motivations unknown to the dreamer. Some serve as guides, others as obstacles, while some appear neutral yet aware. Travelers report that attempting to force or manipulate these entities usually results in disruption or dissonance, suggesting that they possess a form of consciousness or autonomy. Engaging ethically and attentively with dream characters allows for deeper understanding, richer exploration, and experiences that feel profoundly authentic. These interactions highlight the dream world as a reality with intelligence, culture, and internal consistency, not merely a projection of the mind. Emotional resonance acts as both map and language in these spaces. The intensity, nuance, and specificity of feelings experienced in dreams often surpass what occurs in waking life. Joy, fear, awe, melancholy, and serenity can be tied directly to the environment, events, or interactions with inhabitants. For the dream traveler, emotional perception is a critical navigational tool, signaling areas of significance, potential danger, or opportunity. If these realms exist independently, then emotions are not just internal reactions. They are responsive exchanges with the fabric of reality itself, a dialogue between consciousness and the world it inhabits. Lucid dreaming, practiced attention, and intentional focus function as keys to deeper exploration. By cultivating awareness, travelers gain the ability to move deliberately, observe with clarity, and engage with inhabitants consciously. Yet even in lucidity, the dream world is not submissive. It maintains its own logic, patterns, and rhythms. Success in navigation requires sensitivity, respect, and attunement. Consciousness is simultaneously an instrument and a participant, influencing outcomes without fully controlling the environment. The balance between intention and surrender becomes central. The traveler must act with purpose, yet remain open to the autonomy and intelligence of the realm. The continuity of dream landscapes suggests persistence beyond individual perception. Rivers continue to flow, cities evolve, forests expand, and inhabitants carry on, even when no dreamer is present. Time and events accumulate, histories unfold, and patterns repeat or transform. These signs indicate that the dream world possesses its own durability, independent of waking life. For the traveler, this persistence provides opportunities for revisiting, mapping, and interacting with the same spaces over time, deepening familiarity and understanding. Each visit is part of an ongoing narrative that transcends the temporal and spatial limitations of the individual mind. Dreams may also intersect with waking life in subtle, measurable ways. Inspiration, intuition, and problem solving often emerge from interactions with dream realms, influencing decisions, creativity, and emotional growth. The dream world functions as both mirror and guide, reflecting the mind, offering perspectives inaccessible in waking consciousness, and revealing possibilities that exist in dimensions beyond ordinary perception. In this sense, the dreamer is not merely visiting imaginary spaces, but accessing aspects of reality that interact with waking life in profound and often unexpected ways. The philosophical implications of these mechanics are vast. If consciousness can navigate autonomous realms with persistent structures, temporal elasticity, and independent inhabitants, then our understanding of identity, reality, and perception must expand. Waking life becomes one layer among many, and the mind is not confined to the body or to linear space-time. Exploration of these realms offers insights into the nature of consciousness itself, its mobility, adaptability, and capacity to interact with realities that exist independently, yet intersect with awareness. Dreams, therefore, are not just experiences, they are laboratories, classrooms, and voyages into the deeper architecture of existence. Even limitations become informative. Not every realm is accessible at every moment. Some zones may require readiness, emotional balance, or specific attention. Others may resist entry, respond unpredictably, or remain entirely hidden until conditions align. These constraints suggest that the dream world is selective, adaptive, and intelligent, responding to the presence of consciousness while maintaining integrity. Understanding these boundaries is part of the skill of exploration, emphasizing patience, attentiveness, and ethical engagement. Ethics and intention shape the quality of interaction. Actions taken in dreams, whether toward landscapes, characters, or phenomena, may carry consequences, subtle or profound. Approaching with curiosity, respect, and mindfulness allows the dreamer to navigate safely and meaningfully. Conversely, aggression, distraction, or disregard may provoke resistance, confusion, or dissonance, reflecting the autonomy of the realm. Dreams become not merely a stage for observation, but a space of responsibility, collaboration, and dialogue. The more one engages consciously, the more intricate and expansive these realms appear. Patterns emerge, inhabitants gain depth, landscapes reveal hidden structures, and interactions unfold with increasing complexity. Each journey adds knowledge, experience, and memory to the traveler's understanding, creating a map that is simultaneously personal and objective. Exploration is iterative. Returning to a location after years may reveal continuity, change, or new dimensions previously unseen. The dream world is alive, persistent, and evolving, independent yet intimately connected to the consciousness that visits. Ultimately, the mechanics of dreams suggest that reality itself is layered and multidimensional. Waking life represents only a fraction of what consciousness can experience. Dreams provide access to realms that are autonomous, structured, and meaningful. Consciousness is not confined to the body, nor to the temporal and spatial rules of the physical world. It moves fluidly, interacts with independent beings, perceives landscapes with depth and emotional resonance, and accumulates experience in ways that extend across time and reality. Dreams are portals, invitations, and laboratories for exploring dimensions of existence that remain invisible yet profoundly present. Through attention, intention, and ethical engagement, the traveler begins to map these realities, learn their rules, and interact with them in increasingly meaningful ways. Each journey becomes part of an unfolding exploration of consciousness itself, revealing the complexity, richness, and depth of existence beyond the familiar boundaries of the waking mind. Dreams are not fleeting illusions. They are persistent worlds, waiting to be observed, experienced, and understood. Some dreams are fleeting, dissolving upon waking, yet others recur with uncanny consistency. A street, a river, a mountain, or even a single doorway may appear over and over, separated by weeks, months, or decades. These recurring spaces are not just memories or coincidences. They suggest persistence, a stability that defies the idea of dreams as ephemeral constructs. Returning to a familiar dream often evokes a sense of déjà vu, as if the traveller is stepping back into a world that continues to exist independently, patiently awaiting observation. In this sense, dreams are more than experiences. They are destinations, real places that exist beyond the mind and time of any single dreamer. Shared dreams push the boundaries of what we consider reality even further. When two or more individuals report visiting the same location, noticing the same features, or interacting with the same beings, it implies a realm that transcends individual consciousness. Accounts vary. Sometimes dreamers meet and communicate directly. Other times, they pass through the same city or landscape, sensing each other's presence indirectly. These phenomena hint at an objective world accessible to multiple minds simultaneously, a domain where consciousness intersects, converges, and interacts in ways that challenge the notion of isolation. The dream world becomes not only personal but social, capable of hosting relationships, dialogues, and collaborative experiences beyond the waking sphere. The philosophical implications are staggering. If consciousness can exist and operate in independent realms, then identity may be more fluid than previously understood. In recurring dreams, we may inhabit multiple roles: traveller, observer, participant, or even a different self entirely. In shared dreams, our individual identity intersects with others, creating a mesh of awareness that defies simple categorization. Reality, therefore, is not a fixed construct, but a layered network composed of interconnected realms, each with its own rules, inhabitants, and continuity. The boundaries between self, world, and other become permeable, inviting a re-evaluation of what it means to exist. Time within these realms further complicates perception. Dreams can compress centuries into moments or stretch minutes into lifetimes. A city explored over decades of dream experiences may evolve, develop, and decay in ways that the dreamer perceives as both fleeting and enduring. This temporal elasticity challenges linear understanding, revealing that the dream world has its own chronology, independent of the waking clock. Each visit contributes to an ongoing narrative, a temporal tapestry woven from interactions, discoveries, and accumulated memory. The traveller participates not only in exploration, but in the ongoing unfolding of a persistent reality. The inhabitants of these realms often display autonomy and intelligence. Dream characters may act independently, speak with knowledge beyond the dreamer, or exhibit emotions and intentions entirely distinct from the observer. These beings may serve as guides, companions, or challengers, and engaging with them ethically often yields the richest experiences. Approaching with curiosity, attentiveness, and respect allows the dreamer to navigate more effectively, understand the rules of the space, and gain insight into the deeper workings of the realm. In this context, dreams are not only exploratory, they are relational, a dialogue with entities that possess agency and presence. Recurring and shared dreams also offer lessons about perception and awareness. The mind is both tool and interface, shaping experience while responding to independent realities. Attention amplifies, curiosity navigates, and intention guides. Yet even as the dreamer acts, the world maintains integrity, evolving and responding according to its own principles. Mastery of these realms is not about control, but attunement, learning the rhythms, patterns, and subtle cues that allow for meaningful engagement. The experience teaches that perception is active, consciousness is mobile, and reality is interactive in ways that extend far beyond waking understanding. Emotion functions as both compass and currency. Intensity, nuance, and resonance communicate information that cannot always be expressed in words. Awe, fear, joy, and melancholy often arise in response to the environment, characters, or events, signaling significance, opportunity, or caution. The dream traveler learns to read these signals, understanding that emotion is part of the landscape, a language of interaction with a world that is alive, responsive, and autonomous. Emotional awareness deepens the experience, offering insights into both the dream realm and the nature of consciousness itself. Lucidity enhances exploration, providing clarity, direction, and agency. Yet even with lucidity, the dream world is not submissive. Attempts to dominate or manipulate often fail, suggesting boundaries and autonomy. Ethical engagement, respect for inhabitants, and sensitivity to environmental cues are critical. The dreamer's consciousness becomes an active participant, collaborating with the world rather than imposing upon it. Each choice, interaction, and observation contributes to a living narrative, a dynamic interplay between mind and reality that continues beyond the immediate experience. The metaphysical consequences are profound. If dreams are real places, consciousness may not be strictly bound to the body, brain, or waking time. Identity may be multidimensional, extending across realms, intersecting with other minds, and engaging with autonomous realities. Reality itself becomes layered, a network of persistent worlds, each with unique structure, inhabitants, and temporal rhythm. Exploration of these realms is not trivial. It is an inquiry into the nature of existence, perception, and consciousness. Every journey is a venture into a domain that exists independently, yet resonates with profound relevance in waking life. Recurring dreams may reveal patterns, rules, and histories inherent to the world itself. A forest explored repeatedly may show signs of change. Trees grown, paths altered, new features appearing. A city may evolve culturally, architecturally, and socially. These observations suggest that the realm is dynamic, persistent, and autonomous, capable of growth and transformation without reliance on the dreamer. Each visit adds perspective, knowledge, and memory, deepening the traveler's understanding and connection to the world. Shared dreams reinforce the universality of this reality. The experience of intersecting with other minds, whether through direct interaction, parallel observation, or subtle presence, suggests that consciousness is relational. The dream world is capable of hosting multiple participants simultaneously, allowing for collaboration, dialogue, and exchange of experience. This transforms the act of dreaming into a communal exploration, where individual perception contributes to a larger shared reality. Consciousness, in this framework, is not isolated but interconnected, capable of interacting across layers of existence in ways that challenge conventional understanding. Ultimately, recurring and shared dreams point toward a universe more expansive than the waking mind typically conceives. Reality is layered, consciousness is mobile, and identity is multidimensional. Dreams are not ephemeral constructs. They are persistent, structured, and interactive realms that exist independently yet intersect meaningfully with our awareness. Each dream is an opportunity to explore, to understand, and to participate in worlds that are alive, ethical, and autonomous. The act of dreaming becomes a journey not only across landscapes but across dimensions of existence, where perception, intention, and consciousness converge. As the traveler deepens engagement with these realms, the distinction between waking and dreaming begins to blur. Memories, insights, and emotional resonance carry over, influencing behavior, creativity, and understanding. Attention and intention refine the capacity for exploration, while recurring landscapes and shared experiences provide continuity and structure. Consciousness emerges as both participant and observer, navigating realities that extend far beyond the familiar boundaries of the waking world. The dreamer is no longer confined to imagination. They are an explorer, a witness, and a traveller in dimensions that are persistent, autonomous, and astonishingly intricate. If every dream is a real place, then the implications stretch far beyond nightly curiosity. They reach into the very nature of existence itself. The landscapes, beings, and histories we encounter in dreams may persist independently, forming realms as rich, complex, and autonomous as the waking world. This challenges the most basic assumptions about reality: that space is fixed, time is linear, and consciousness is confined to the body. In these realms, identity is fluid, perception is malleable, and experience transcends the ordinary. Each journey through a dream world becomes an exploration not only of terrain, but of the very structure of being. The persistence of dream worlds suggests that reality is layered. Some layers are anchored in the physical, the streets we walk, the objects we touch, but others exist parallel, subtle, and unseen. Dreams may occupy these hidden layers, realms that operate according to different principles, yet are accessible to consciousness. These spaces are structured, autonomous, and meaningful. They are not illusions, they are domains of existence where events unfold, inhabitants act independently, and landscapes change, all whether or not a single human mind observes them. The waking world may be only one lens through which reality expresses itself. Consciousness, in this framework, is far more expansive than we usually consider. It is not confined to a single body or brain. It travels, perceives, interacts, and accumulates experience in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Through dreams, consciousness may engage with worlds that have their own internal logic, histories, and inhabitants. These realms respond, evolve, and communicate in ways that reveal both the autonomy of reality and the role of the observer. The dreamer is not passive but active, a participant in a vast, multi-layered network of existence. Awareness becomes both the instrument and the interface for discovery. Recurring dreams emphasize continuity and memory across realms. Returning to a city, a forest, or a mountain over years reveals persistence, evolution, and interaction that transcend individual perception. Each visit adds context, deepens understanding, and strengthens the connection between dreamer and realm. These recurring landscapes act as anchors, waypoints in a vast geography of consciousness. They remind us that the worlds we visit in dreams are not fleeting. They are enduring, alive, and full of histories waiting to be observed, remembered, and engaged with. Shared dreams expand this understanding even further. When multiple minds converge in the same space, interacting with each other and with the environment, it suggests that consciousness is relational. Reality is not merely personal, it is communal, capable of hosting multiple participants who perceive, interact, and influence one another. These encounters indicate that the dream world operates independently, yet intersects with multiple minds simultaneously. Consciousness is not isolated, it is networked, able to traverse realms that exist beyond singular perception. Time and causality in these realms challenge waking assumptions. A single night may encompass centuries, multiple lifetimes, or events that loop and intertwine in ways impossible to reconcile in the physical world. This temporal elasticity allows consciousness to perceive patterns, witness change, and explore possibilities inaccessible in waking life. Cause and effect are fluid, yet internally consistent, revealing a universe that is vast, layered, and responsive. Exploration in these dimensions is not merely imaginative, it is experiential, instructive, and real. Dream characters add another layer of depth. Their autonomy, knowledge, and behaviors often exceed the dreamer's expectations. They act, react, and exist independently, creating relationships, challenges, and guidance that influence the journey. Ethical engagement becomes essential. Kindness, curiosity, and attentiveness allow for meaningful interaction, while disregard or force often leads to confusion or dissonance. These beings may inhabit realms that are persistent, intelligent, and alive. They teach the dreamer that consciousness is not solitary, that worlds beyond waking life carry their own agency, and that exploration requires respect and understanding. Lucid awareness enhances the dreamer's ability to navigate these worlds, yet even lucidity does not imply control. The realm retains autonomy, responding in ways that reveal its internal logic and rules. The balance between intention and receptivity becomes central. The dreamer guides attention, explores possibilities, and interacts consciously, yet the world itself shapes outcomes. In this delicate interplay, consciousness functions as both observer and participant, shaping experience without dominating reality. Emotion remains a central thread. Dreams communicate through feeling. Awe, fear, joy, and melancholy carry information, signaling significance, energy, or potential paths. Emotional resonance is part of the fabric of these realms, a language beyond words that allows the dreamer to perceive subtleties of place, history, and interaction. By attuning to emotion, travelers gain insight, guidance, and a deeper connection to the realities they explore. The dream world is alive not only in form and function, but in feeling, creating an intimate dialogue between consciousness and existence. The metaphysical consequences are profound. If dream realms exist independently, then reality itself is not singular. Existence is layered, consciousness is fluid, and identity is multidimensional. The boundaries between waking and dreaming blur, revealing that life is not confined to a single perspective, location, or body. Dreams become portals to truths that transcend ordinary perception, offering experiences that expand understanding, reshape awareness, and illuminate the depth and complexity of being. Finally, the act of engaging with dream worlds transforms the dreamer. Each journey fosters observation, reflection, and connection. Familiar landscapes teach continuity and change. Encounters with beings reveal ethical and relational dimensions. Temporal elasticity and shifting geographies expand perspective. Emotional resonance communicates subtle truths. Shared experiences reinforce the networked nature of consciousness. Through all of this, the traveler gains insight into the vastness of existence, the mobility of awareness, and the profound reality of worlds that exist independently, yet intersect meaningfully with the self. Dreaming, then, is not passive. It is exploration, interaction, and discovery. It is the practice of moving consciously through dimensions of reality that are persistent, autonomous, and astonishingly intricate. Each night offers an opportunity to traverse realms, meet beings, map landscapes, and accumulate experience in ways that transcend the ordinary. The dreamer becomes an explorer, a witness, and a participant in a universe far richer than waking life alone can convey. In recognizing the reality of these worlds, we are invited to rethink consciousness, identity, and existence itself. The landscapes we walk in sleep may be as real as those we walk in waking life. The beings we meet may possess autonomy, intelligence, and purpose. Time may stretch, loop, or collapse. Identity may be multidimensional, fluid, and networked. Reality may be layered, expansive, and interactive. And consciousness, our consciousness, may travel, perceive, and engage across realms beyond the physical, beyond linear time, and beyond ordinary understanding. Each dream is, in this light, a journey. Each recurring city, river, or mountain is a destination. Each interaction with beings or landscapes is meaningful, and each return to waking life carries echoes, impressions, and insights from a universe that exists far beyond the surface of perception. Dreams are not merely mental experiences. They are windows into realities that are autonomous, persistent, and profound, waiting to be explored, understood, and remembered. The universe, it seems, is far more vast, intricate, and alive than we typically imagine. And in every dream, consciousness steps beyond its ordinary boundaries to witness, to navigate, and to participate in worlds that may be just as real, perhaps even more so than the one we call waking life.